Hey friends, today we're talking about how to eat healthier. Dr. Nida with Reidsville Endocrinology Associates is here to talk about all your questions of whole food or plant-based diets. Dr. Nida, who is best for this whole food diet? Can anyone do it?
The short answer is yes. But generally, food groups are categorized broadly into three boxes. Box one, for example, has healthful whole grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. You can recommend this to anyone. Anyone can benefit from this group. In the red box, these are unhealthy foods, which are processed meats, red meat, added sugar, refined grains, and ultra-processed foods. These are not good for anybody, so you can safely recommend against these groups. The third group is what we call debatable foods, like poultry, eggs, dairy, fish. There is some evidence of benefit, especially to growing kids, pregnant mothers, nursing mothers, who can benefit from this group. So you can safely recommend those. Generally, however, whole food plant-based diet does not hurt anyone. You can safely recommend it to everybody.
So why should someone consider this switch? How much healthier can it make you?
Well, the evidence is so strong that the last less than 50 years, our nation has transformed from obesity rate less than 10% to now almost 40%. And there are several factors for this. Chief among them is unhealthy or suboptimal dietary choices. So the research shows that if we have to tackle the epidemic of chronic disease, including obesity, we have to switch to whole food plant-based diet, which has been proven a lot of places to show that communities consuming a whole food plant-based diet do have less prevalence of these chronic diseases.
I've thought before about switching to this whole food, but I'm worried I don't have enough time to do all the cooking involved in it. How do you handle that?
Actually, the healthier option is easier option because you plan it, you shop for it, and it's a matter of mixing those together. Of course, the switch has to be slow. For example, you don't want to start a big change at the same time. The key is in the power of micro steps. Make the change as small as possible. In other words, too small to fail, and your body can adapt to that. And once you see the benefits, you cannot live without it.
We've heard a lot over the past few years about the Mediterranean diet. Is that similar to this whole food type of diet?
It is close. It's close. Again, there are segments of the community who can benefit from Mediterranean diet. However, it's not entirely plant-based. It's not entirely oil-free, for example, but it is close. You can safely recommend to some communities.
In the last segment, you guys said something that really stuck out to me, that carbohydrates are not necessary. So what do you get your energy from if it's not from the carbohydrates?
That's where the variation comes from different school of thoughts. Carbohydrates are actually very, very necessary. For example, if you are lucky and in the minority of Americans with no disease or no risk for chronic disease, including diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, you can safely enjoy carbohydrates as long as they are sourced properly. However, if you are dealing with raging diabetes or raging high cholesterol, you should limit the consumption of ultra-processed carbohydrates. However, from endocrinology point of view, you can still benefit from starch, for example, as long as wet starch, for example, baked potatoes instead of mashed potatoes, French fries, or chips. Carbohydrates should still give you 50 to 60% of your calories. So you cannot avoid carbohydrates altogether.
Well, thank you so much for helping us out today. We all want to live longer, and eating healthy seems to be a good way to try to do that. If you missed any of this, it will all be up on WFMYnews2.com. Just check out the To Your Wellbeing website.